started in an old YMCA gym in Holyoke, Massachusetts in 1895. Athletic Director William Morgan needed a game that tired businessmen could play, as they weren't exactly super jocks. He strung a tennis net 6 feet high, threw the men a basketball bladder, and told them to hit it back and forth. Any number could play. What you call your basic mob scene. He called it mintonette. The game was originally designed to be an indoor winter sport. When the weather got nice, they moved it outdoors. Old Mr. Morgan tried everything before he finally came up with a regulation ball. A basketball bladder, soccer ball, beach ball. He would have tried a very short, fat man if he could have gotten him airborne. A.G. Spaulding finally came up with the modern ball, and the sport of volleyball was on its way. Eventually, we got some rules. Players were limited to 6 per side, and the court was set at 30 by 60 feet. The net was raised to 8 feet. We even got a code of ethics. And it became a true sport. Today, volleyball is a major sport throughout the world, with more than 150 million players. The sport, however, that was designed for tired businessmen really hasn't caught on in the United States. But things are changing. Southern California beaches hold a particular mystique, not only for the surfer. For within this same atmosphere of great feathering waves and summers that seemingly last forever, power volleyball was created. Some of the best and most exciting volleyball in the world is played on these same beaches. It's played not with 6 on a side, but 2. And the court is just as big. The Americans invented volleyball, but it was the Filipinos who were the first in developing the great offensive weapon, the spike. When executed properly, the spike can propel the ball at a speed of 110 miles an hour. At times, especially when you're on the other side, it is called the kill. The spike revolutionized volleyball. It changed it from an afternoon pastime to a highly competitive sport. A top blocker can block even the best of attempted spikes, but it takes exact and precise timing. In order that a player may hit the ball, you need a set. Hands that just seconds ago crushed the ball are now used to ever so gently caress it. Most difficult in volleyball is the dig. Along with your partner, you stand approximately 10 feet from the attacking hitter, anticipating a ball coming at you at 100+ miles per hour. The area you have to cover is 30 by 30 feet, and all you have to do is dig it. But when executed properly, the dig can be the most exciting play in volleyball. When the fundamentals of the game are put together, it becomes a thing of beauty. Today, volleyball has more worldwide acceptance and popularity than any other American-originated team sport. It was outranked internationally only by soccer in the number of participants and spectators. Many of the players that you are now watching might possibly be called superstars in other countries. But in the United States, most of the players are unknown outside a small circle of volleyball fans. In order that you may better know our players, let us take you around and introduce you to a few players that make up volleyball today. This is Gene Selznick, Mr. Volleyball in the United States. Gene has been playing volleyball for 24 years. He got the title Mr. Volleyball while being on the first USA team to ever tour in 1953. It was the first American team in any sport to go into a communist country after the Second World War. During his competitive days, he won more awards and received more recognition than any other American player. He is one of only 2 Americans ever to be named to the all-world team. Gene got his start playing indoors. He is also one of the first to start playing competitively on the beach. During the 50s and early 60s, Gene and his partners seldom lost. Gene Selznick, Mr. Volleyball in the United States. There is a newer breed that's taking over now. This is United States Olympic team member Larry Rundle, one of the premier volleyball players in the world. We asked Larry about the progress he has seen in volleyball. Are we taking volleyball out of something that's required for a gym class and moving it into a true competitive sport?
Well, I think that since '65, when I first started playing, there's been a lot of, you've seen a lot of growth in the game. You've seen the game move from regular collegiate play to NCAA play. You've seen last year at the NCAA National Championships, they got about 85 to 9,000 people see the finals of the NCAA Volleyball Championships, which has got to be the biggest crowd in this country. You're seeing an awful lot of growth. You're seeing a lot of talk about promotional activities. You're seeing talk about professional volleyball leagues coming into effect now. It's getting to the point where we might be seeing volleyball come of age.
This is Duncan McFarland, one of the finest indoor players in the nation. He was the most valuable player on the San Diego State NCAA champions. To that little task, he devoted 2 full years of his life. Let's watch Duncan and his teammates playing the runner-up Long Beach State team in one of the fastest-growing collegiate sports. One volleyball player who has received a lot of recognition is Keith Erickson, but most of that fame has come from another sport. A one-time member of our Olympic volleyball team, he is also a great beach volleyball player. We caught Keith outside his dressing room and asked him about the similarities between volleyball and basketball.
I grew up playing volleyball on the beach, and I feel that since I was playing volleyball all day long, I was jumping in the sand. I think that it improved my jumping ability and very much improved the strength in my legs. I feel that my quickness, my reaction time was all helped by volleyball. Jumping ability, quickness, reaction, all of these things go hand in hand with volleyball that I picked up from just playing at the beach.
Keith still plays volleyball during the summer months. Like many other professional and collegiate athletes, he finds it an excellent way to stay in condition between seasons. For while playing competitive volleyball under a hot summer sun that often reaches into the 90s, it's not unusual for a player to lose up to 3 quarts of liquid in a single match. For a volleyball match can often last up to 3 hours. Needless to say, in order to play volleyball on a competitive level, you have to be in good physical condition. One player who meets that requirement is Ron Von Hagen. In order to reach the finals in a 2-day tournament, Von Hagen will have played a minimum of 8 matches. In those matches, he will have run 8 miles in the sand. Jumped straight up approximately 2,500 times. Spiked 2,500 balls. Beach volleyball narrows it down to only those in top physical condition. Capitalizing on his tremendous strength and endurance, Ron Von Hagen has won more beach titles than any other player. While these have been just a few of the players that make up volleyball today, and we realize we can't introduce you to them all, we don't want to forget our favorites, the girls. Oh yes, they play competitively too. But this weekend, it's the Men's Open, and they are spectators. And oh, what spectators. Each year, there's one volleyball tournament that attracts more spectators than all the rest. That's the Manhattan Beach Open. Today, 6,000 to 8,000 people will watch the finalists compete. After 2 days of competition, out of the original 90 that started, only 2 teams are left. In this year's finals, we have the veteran, Ron Von Hagen, nearest the camera, and his partner, young Tom Chamales, one of the strongest and hardest hitters on the beach. Their opponents will be Jim Menges, wearing the headband, and Greg Lee of UCLA basketball fame. Both are excellent players, but they don't have the hitting power of Von Hagen and Chamales. Their strong points are ball control, passing and setting, and good defense. It will be their ball handling skill and quickness against their opponent's strength and experience. We join the game in progress. Von Hagen and Chamales, at the bottom of your picture, won the first game and are leading in the second, 10-9. The match is 2 out of 3, 11-point games. In other words, they are 1 point from victory. The game has been going on for an hour and a half. The temperature on the court is 92 degrees. Greg Lee is back to serve. Lee and Menges are down 1 point. They need this point to tie it up. The serve goes to Von Hagen. He makes a bad pass, but Chamales saves it. Von Hagen dinks it deep to Menges. Lee makes a nice set on the net. Von Hagen gets it, pops it over the net. Fantastic play by Von Hagen. Menges is upset with himself for not getting the ball. That would have been a point for them and tied it up. Instead, it's Von Hagen back to serve. Match point. Von Hagen keeps the ball on Menges. Lee's set is right on the net. Oh, Von Hagen makes a diving one-handed dig. Von Hagen taps it back to Menges. Lee sets. Menges takes the ball. Side out. Menges caught them off guard, expecting the hit. Jim's back to serve, trailing by 1 point, trying to stay alive and tie it up. His serve goes to Chamales. He passes the ball into the net. Von Hagen saves it. Chamales hits it back over to Lee. Menges' set is perfect. Oh, Lee hits the ball into the net. Let's look at that spike again with our slow-motion camera. After a long run, Lee starts his jump. Leaps up nice and high. Mistimes it just a little. He hits it coming down. Ball hits the top of the tape, rolling out of bounds on his side. That was their chance to tie it up. Chamales back to serve. Ball goes down the line to Menges. He sets the ball out on the pole. Oh, nice dig by Chamales. But the ball goes over the net. Lee sets. Menges dinks the ball short to Chamales. Ron makes a nice save out of the net. Chamales taps it over to Lee. Bump set. Oh, this time Lee gets a lot of steam on the ball and drills it side out, Menges and Lee. Now that would have been the match if Lee would have put that one into the net. Lee will be going back to serve, trying to get that 1 point and go ahead. Nice pass by Von Hagen. The off-balance set is just a little back. Von Hagen elects to dink it deep. Lee bump sets. Menges hits. That's a point. They switch sides at 10-all. We're all tied up. Momentum's changed and Lee can feel it. Now the pressure's on Von Hagen and Chamales. Lee back to serve, hoping to get the go-ahead point. Serves the ball down the line to Von Hagen. Chamales sets. Von Hagen makes a weak hit. Menges sets. Oversets. Von Hagen gets it. Chamales sets. This time, Von Hagen drills one. Chamales' ability to set Von Hagen is really paying off. Von Hagen back to serve. Serves the ball to Menges. Lee sets. Menges up to hit. Von Hagen's dig goes to the back of the court. Chamales bump sets. Von Hagen bumps it over to Menges. Lee sets. Menges curls the ball along the net. Side out. Good pressure play by Menges. Now it's Menges going back, trying to go ahead for the first time in the game. Menges will probably keep the ball on Von Hagen. The ball does go to Von Hagen. Chamales bump sets. Von Hagen turns the ball cross court. Very good placement shot. Chamales back to serve. The score is still deuce, 10-10. Chamales' serve surprisingly goes to Lee. Lee gets a good set. Hits it hard, but Chamales makes a good overhand dig. Chamales elects to tap it back. Bump set. Lee turns the ball to Von Hagen. Chamales makes a nice overhand set. Menges makes a two-handed dig. Lee sets, oversets. Chamales gets the overset. This time he drills it to the center of the court. Point, Von Hagen and Chamales. It's a point game, 11-10. They need to win by 2. They need just one more for the match. The serve goes to Greg Lee. Nice pass. Sets on the net. Lee hammers it, but Chamales gets his hand on the ball. Von Hagen oversets. Menges gets the overset. He hits Lee's set right in the center of the court. You have to hand it to Menges. He's not giving up. The overset by Von Hagen really cost them. Lee, knowing that mistake is still on Von Hagen's mind, will probably serve him. Yep, the ball goes to Von Hagen. Chamales' overhand set is on the net. Von Hagen executes perhaps his best hit of the day. Point game again for Von Hagen and Chamales. This is their 5th time at point game. Von Hagen serves deep center. Mangus makes a good pass. Nice set. Von Hagen makes a great dig. Von Hagen left hands it over to Lee. Gets a good set. Von Hagen digs it out of bounds. Tom makes a great diving save. Von Hagen dinks the ball back to Mangus. Mangus goes up for the hit, but dink. Chamales is there. Von Hagen makes a great bump set. Chamales drills it. Point, game, victory, Von Hagen and Chamales. And just like that, it's all over. Ron Von Hagen, Tom Chamales are the winners of this summer's Manhattan Beach Open, symbolizing the best beach volleyball in the world. It's a moment of triumph for the players and for a truly unique American sport. William Morgan probably didn't know what he had created in that old gymnasium in Holyoke, Massachusetts. But he gave the world a new pastime. Whether on the beaches of California or in gymnasiums around the world, volleyball has come of age.